Alrighty, guys, and we're live. Welcome back to the second part of check-in here. We've got Team 3940 Cybertooth from Kokomo, Indiana, joining us live. Guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves to us?
Hey, I'm Gus Duvall, and I'm team president.
I'm Max McCool, and I'm a sophomore on the team.
Very cool. And what do you guys do on Cybertooth?
I was driver last year, and I'm also electrical lead.
I'm lead design for the climber.
Ooh, very cool. All right, well, we're definitely going to talk about that a little bit this week. So why don't we go over and just talk about what this week was for your team? What exactly were you guys up to the entire third week of the build season?
Lots more prototyping. Always prototyping.
Really, even more prototyping?
Yeah, we've started kind of narrowing in on our final designs, but we figure as the CAD's happening, if we can improve on it, why not keep trying?
And we're working on constructing our CAD model, and we finished that Saturday, and we've just been testing that out and working out the bugs for the climber.
All right, very cool. That sounds great. So you kind of alluded to this a little bit. Let's talk about how your team exactly begins that transition. You're still prototyping, but you're beginning that transition out of hardcore prototyping into doing into doing the design and the rest of that for your robot. So tell us how that all works for your team.
Right now in my subgroup, the fuel group, well, first we started out doing the prototypes and figuring out rough stuff of what we wanted, and now we're kind of moving in towards working on CAD for like the pretty part of the robot that will do the task that we need. So we're, at least with the fuel group, we've kind of just taken what we've made out of plastic and cardboard and all that, and we're just kind of converting it to sheet metal and making it not look bad.
Well, I'm sure it looks fine, but you know. Okay. What about how exactly do you guys break sort of all the tasks that have to be done? I know you guys have subgroups, but is every single person on your team designing something right now in CAD, or are there people working on prototypes while other people are doing CAD, or how does that all break down exactly?
Well, we've got a couple people on our team that are really skilled in CAD. We've got a couple students that are learning as well as some mentors. And so since we broke it up into subgroups, we have a couple people from each subgroup working on CAD while the rest of the group works on continuous improvement for the prototypes.
Oh, okay, cool. So can you give me a little bit of more information? Maybe this is too early to ask this, but give me a little bit more information about how you implement the changes that these prototype groups are coming up with into the design that you're already CADing. Because I know that that'd be an interesting process to have a CAD going of one thing and then also have that changing behind it, basically.
Communication.
Okay.
Yeah, if we realize that something works better, we'll alert the CAD people, and like show them why we think it's better, how we think we can improve the CAD model. But yeah, it's not that bad. Just making sure that we keep everyone up to date. We've recap meetings every day just to make sure everyone's on the same page with that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. That's very important to make sure everybody's on the same page. I know that especially when you get a large group of people together, even professional engineers, they sometimes kind of forget the goals that you may have set earlier. So,
yeah.
Very cool. All right, so let's get a little bit into the nitty-gritty, just because I'm mostly curious. What do you guys use to do the CAD on your robot, and how detailed do you get? Do you get down to like the nuts and bolts and the wires and the wire path, or is it even just very rough, like a 2D sketch? How do you guys do that?
Do you want to talk about your rope one?
Yeah, we use SolidWorks.
Okay.
I think 2015, 2016. And basically, what we would do is we would get all the parts, and we already had, thanks to Andy Mark, we already had the CADs of the parts, the screws, the bolts, the motors, mini sims, all that.
Yeah.
And we would put it into the program. We would construct it together. We would get our plates made, like our gear plate and our construction plate, and then we would put that all together, and we would construct it in there, and then we could get the weight, the material that we're going to use,
right?
And so we can have a rough estimate.
Okay, cool. So as you sort of are starting this design, let's talk about what you've learned so far in your season. You said you did a lot of prototyping this past week. You did a lot of prototyping last week. let's do a quick rundown on how those are going. Let's start with the fuel and your shooter, because that is your number one priority is to shoot balls.
Yep.
So let's start with that. How does that all look right now?
It's looking pretty good. Like I said last week, we're hoping to do a turret, hopefully to auto track the goal. Right now, our software group's actually working with the rough final shooter prototype, just to get those RPMs straightened out and stuff. So right now, the fuel group's actually mostly working on our over-the-bumper intake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we figure we got to use all the space above our over-bumper intake so we don't waste all that volume for ball capacity. So we're working on a way to bring the balls up over the top of the robot into the hopper rather than just feeding into the bottom of the hopper, so we can utilize that extra space.
Okay, very cool. So, so I guess the next question everybody always wants to hear about, I know people on Chief Delphi were asking this, how are you guys shooting? Are you guys very, very accurate? Are you still learning a lot? Is it top spin, bottom spin, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, no wheels? How do you guys do it? What have your results pointed you toward?
Right now we're looking at a single flywheel shooter with a hood so that we can get that front spin. We found it to be beneficial in prototyping because it made us get like probably 5 or 6 more % in when they would hit the edge and spin in. And then I think with our last prototype, we were looking at 80 to 90% accuracy right now, and that was before the programmers worked with the RPMs. And so hoping to get 90 plus accuracy with, we're looking at about 10 balls per second right now.
Wow, very cool. And
yeah.
You guys are shooting from not just up against the boiler, but also from far back, like at the gear deposit area?
Yes.
Wow, very cool. And is that PID controlled right now, or is it just like raw, just full power?
They're doing PID control right now.
Okay, cool. All right. Whew, I was going to say 90% without PID control. You guys are miracle workers here. Very good job. That sounds awesome, though. So let's talk about some of the other stuff your robot's up to. Let's talk a little bit about the climber. I know that you said you're kind of the man with the plan for this. So give us the skinny on what you guys are doing.
Well, there's some stuff that I think that our team has agreed not to talk about. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
Secret sauce.
Yeah,
secret sauce. Ooh.
But what I can tell you is that, basically, we're climbing. We actually use Gus to test it, and we put him on it. He grabbed onto
Gus, like Team 228, or is this a dude?
This Gus.
That's you, Gus, not
me, Gus.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you testing this, Gus?
Basically, seeing if a rope could lift me.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Did you wear your safety goggles?
Yes.
Okay, so you're totally safe. You're good.
Yeah.
Completely.
So, sorry, go ahead, talk a little bit more about how you're testing with Gus.
So basically, he would grab onto the rope, and we would pull him up. And we tested out our rope strength, our spool strength, and we basically found that a steel 2-inch spool would be the best for us, just to wrap up, speed-wise, RPM-wise, weight-wise, and right now we're trying to figure out what the length of the spool we want to be, and that's really going to depend on how much space we have on the robot, because we're the least important group as it is right now.
Yep.
So we have the least weight tolerance and size tolerance.
Okay.
So we're working on that, and that's just all going to come in time, and we'll know that how much weight and stuff like that we'll have.
Right. So to kind of go a little bit more on that, you said you're hiding some stuff. I don't want to ask you to tell us what that stuff is. Well, what does it relate to? Because it sounds like you've got a pretty standard climber with rope and a drum, right?
You could say that.
Okay. Does it have to do with the kind of rope or the kind of drum, or is there something else in there?
Yeah, just some of the more specifics for what kind of rope we're using, how we're using the drum, and that kind of thing. So yeah, just kind of the more nitty-gritty details about it.
Okay. Well, I'll try to get out of you at some point in the next few weeks, but we'll see about that.
We'll see.
Let's move on to one of the topics we want to touch on this week, which is drivetrains, because this is the week where people start nailing that down and actually begin building parts. How are you guys doing when it comes to moving, and what is that going to look like?
So we decided to go, normally in past years we've used the AM1 4U chassis. but we're moving away from that this year to build a custom chassis that is 8-wheel drive. And I think it's 29 by 23 so that we can get maximum width for our over-the-bumper intake.
Oh, so you're going to be a robot that's wider than is long.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. So,
Yeah.
have you guys looked at like your center of gravity and stuff, or are you at all afraid about tipping over because of that? I mean, 29 by 23 isn't that absurd, especially with your bumper super duper low. But any thoughts to that at all?
I don't think we're really worried about tipping at all. As we said last week, we were going with the lower configuration, so our center of gravity is not going to be too high up. So I don't think tipping is really going to be a problem with our robot.
Okay. And so normally you use the AndyMark AM14U, but this year you're building it custom. So have you guys started building yet, or how does that working?
Yeah, our drive team group has been doing some CAD for the past week, and right now they are modifying some of the off-the-shelf parts from AndyMark, as well as some parts from our in-house router to get those ready for the 8-wheel drivetrain.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to look forward to seeing more about this. I hope that next week we can have a little piece of the robot to show. And it's good to see that you guys are still prototyping, because it's always good, even for a big company, to have your product but also keep developing and making it better, even while you're still getting the other one up to speed. So that's good on you guys doing that. So just a reminder for everybody watching at home live, we are taking questions. If you have a question for these guys, just type !Q followed by your question in the Twitch chat. Our bot's going to grab it, and then if we like it, we're going to put it on air. So we get our first question of the night here. We're going to put that up on screen right now. This is from Zach Ataco, and he wants to know, tacos or burritos? Each of you, please answer, and answer carefully.
Now, we have talked about this discussion very adamantly before this meeting. I'm going to have to go with burritos. I think the goodness of the food is directly proportionate to the amount of tortilla that is in said food.
Excellent. Very good answer. All right, how about you?
As a Mexican food lover, I believe that the taco is the representative of Mexican food. We have Taco Bell, Taco Grande, all these restaurants, and with the crispy shell that you take a bite out of, and the crisp, and then you have the meat and the cheese and the cold sour cream and lettuce, it's just, you can't go wrong with it. And there's just too much tortilla. The tortilla to meat to cheese ratio is just way off, and I think the hard shell for sure.
Well, you present a strong argument, sir. I disagree with you. I disagree with your alternate facts, but we'll see about that. Either way, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Hope that your Mexican food is always spicy. We're going to be taking a very quick break once again, and we're going to bring up Team 2337. They're from Grand Blanc, Michigan. It's the Engine Nerds. So, gentlemen, thank you once again, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll be right back.